to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined by Dan Naylor and Rylan Charlton, the dream team. Boys, thanks for...
Sorry, man, our phone dropped.
Libby. Dan, Rylan, sweet boys, thanks for jumping on, like I said. I'll come to you first, Rylan. Congratulations on the little one as well. How's the dad life?
Dad life is good. Right, this is drive me mad. Dad life is good. It's hard work. Little bit tired here and there, but I've shut myself away in the spare room, so I'm not really doing much of the nighttime stuff. Leaving that to the missus. But yeah, it's lovely. Thanks.
Good. Dan, good to see you as always, mate. How's things?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, Oscar.
Good. It's exciting, boys. The fight with Adam Azim finally across the line. Just your thoughts, Rylan, on the fact that it's managed to get signed off, because obviously I know this is a fight that you really wanted.
Yeah, we've wanted it for quite a while now, and it was sort of, my name was getting mentioned in interviews and nothing was getting set in stone. So I'm absolutely over the moon that it's finally been matched and announced. So yeah, it's good to really get to work now and get the job done.
Dan, can you talk to us about the discussions that were had? I know you both felt as if they were kind of using Rylan's name to stir a little bit of interest at the start. So were negotiations a bit frosty in any sense, or was this kind of an easy fight to make?
It was mentioned literally straight after the Boxer tournament, which was obviously Rylan done really well, got to the final, could have nicked it, and it was literally just put out there, mentioned. Nothing went any further, and I thought, that's dead in the water. Then I'm on holiday in Mexico, obviously the time difference, and I wake up to like 80 WhatsApp messages. Oh, Rylan's fighting Azim in the summer, and I'm like, I've had no negotiation. So we thought using the name a bit, and then it was talked about, and we was like, okay, it's here. And then when we got to the actual final negotiations, they were like, not too sure yet. I think he's a year away from this fight. So it's all a bit odd. We turned down a couple of big fights as well because Rylan really wanted the Azim fight. He knows it's massive, and we both fancy it. It's obviously it's a really hard fight, but we both fancy it. So then it sort of fell apart, and we thought it was dead in the water and was a little bit gutted. And then fair play to Boxer, they come back to us. We had really good chats, and we got it over the line. It took a little bit of time, but the fans wanted to see it. It's all over Twitter, and it's a perfect fight for both. Rylan's 30, just had a kid, got a few losses. Azim's meant to be a future, probably multi-weight world champion if you listen to certain people. So I think it's the right fight at the right time for both. But obviously on fight night, it won't be for one of them.
Rylan, if we're being honest, well, like Dan just said, you know Adam is their golden boy. You can see the time and the effort they're investing in him. I can't tell you how many times I've seen his face on Sky Sports. Do you need any more motivation, than the fact that this would be seen as an upset and a big scalp for you?
This is exactly what I want. I always want to be in the big fights, and I'm ready to cause a big upset. And it's a good thing for Azim. He's young, so he will be a champion one day, but not yet. I'm going to cause a big upset, and good thing with him, he's young, he can come back, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready to do the upset, and I thrive off of all of this pressure. Everyone's saying like, oh, you don't mind taking the hard fight, you're going to get knocked out, all this sort of stuff. I love that because I think I like being the underdog. I have the underdog mentality, and yeah, it just makes me feel even more hungry for the fight.
I see you kind of saying there that he has an opportunity to come back were you to beat him on the 27th. Are you looking at it from your perspective as in, if you don't win the fight, it's going to be a much harder road back for yourself?
Possibly, yeah. I think it might be. I feel like I've had a few knockbacks, and Azim's been put there in front of me, so I can cause the upset and I can get myself back up that ladder. It will be harder for me to come back if I was to lose to him. It'll be a lot easier for him. He's 20 years old. Like they'll just say, "Oh, it was too soon for him," and all this sort of stuff. So he'll have all the excuses will come out. But I do feel like for me, I'm always in big fights. I like to be in the hard fights, and you never know when I'm going to come up and I'm going to be there. And I feel like this is going to be my time. He's the big star, and I'm the underdog, and yeah, I feel hungry for it.
I know it's not a simple game, boxing, but you can kind of break it down pretty simply at times. Is it about you landing and seeing if that chin holds up?
There's a few ways. Like he might not have a chin at all because he's never been tested. He's never fought anyone that's punching him back. Has anyone caught one on chin? I mean, no, I haven't. Has anyone caught him in the stomach and see how he takes a shot to the guts? It's like there's all sorts of stuff. And how's his engine going to be in round 6, round 7, round 8? Because he ain't knocking me out. Let's face it. I've been in with Florian Marku. I've been in with big, heavy punches at higher weights. And I'm going to be dragging it out. I can drag it out long. I can beat him so many different ways, kind of thing. So I feel like there's so many ways to explore beating him.
I see the other day he mentioned how he wants to be fast-tracked to elite level in a couple of years. We're talking Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis. Dan, are we looking at someone in Adam Azim who perhaps needs to slow down a little bit? I mean, we're in the very early stages of a career here.
Mate, I get it. Boxer are desperate for a star. They need a star, but they're just putting too. I feel like I can see it in his eyes. I don't think he's thriving under this pressure. It's too much for a young kid. He was a good amateur, but he's not an Olympic gold medalist. I just think they're too desperate for a star, and they're fast tracking him. They got a little bit of pressure off some of the shows. Easy wins for him and Fraser Clark, and I think they're just rushing it. I think it's a bit too soon. He's fighting a man here, a man who can punch hard. He's got a chin, and his old school will come through and just keep pushing. Look, Oscar, he might be the real deal, and he might be too good for Rylan. I'll hold my hands up. Shane's a great trainer. I'll shake his hand. I'll shake Adam's hand. But I just think personally, this is too much for him. He hasn't done many rounds. He hasn't been hit hard in 8-ounce gloves. It's a big step up at this stage of his career, in my opinion.
I mean, it's clear to see that there is talent there. Rylan, have you been impressed with what you've seen so far? Albeit, like we said, not many rounds, it has been little flashes, but have you been impressed with what you have seen?
Yeah, he's good. Like he's no mug. He's speedy. Seems like he carries some power. But he hasn't had good opponents in front of him. So sometimes it makes you look better if you've got easy opponents. But yeah, we still don't know what he's got. And we're not going to know what he's got until he fights me, I don't feel like. So he might have it, he might not. But yeah, we're never really going to know until we get someone good that stands in front of him. Not that I'm amazing, but I punch hard, I'm relentless, and I'm not going to stop. And I've got that daddy strength now. So that daddy strength is in full swing. So he's in trouble.
Dan, has it been tougher, would you say, trying to navigate Rylan's career than you expected since that Joe Laws win?
It's been tough, but I feel like we've got what we wanted, and it's gone a good route. Unfortunately, me and Rylan have had this chat. He should have beat Luke Willis, and I feel like we'd be the home fighter now, still with Matchroom Boxing, and that was a fight he could have won. His mindset and his head wasn't quite in it that night. There was a lot of pressure to win and move on, and all the talks for the future, and it just didn't go to plan. But there's a lot of opportunities come up for Rylan. Obviously, I don't post about them all the time, but they're all short notice, hard fights at short notice. And Rylan wants the hard fights. He wants the big challenges. Obviously, he's got a little one. I'm not going to lie. He wants a good payday as well, and he deserves one. So it's been hard, but we talk a lot and we go over all the details. And we felt this one with a full camp, with someone who's untested, we thought this was the right fight. Like I said, there was lots of other offers on the table, but yeah, this is the one we wanted to go for, and I feel like hopefully he agrees. He's been navigated well by myself and done quite well out of boxing in a shortish career, and he's still got a lot to go. He's a young 30. He looks after himself, and not being funny, if he does cause the upset, it is an upset, he's going to be a star boxer have got to sign him if he beats Azim, and he'll be a household name. He'll be the A side again, and they'll be building him straight into big fights.
Yeah, and I don't think there's many boxing fans out there who would begrudge seeing you get signed, because one thing they do know is you bring it every time. You don't leave anything to be desired. We know that. Just one thing, Rylan, about potentially past this. I know it is all focus for Adam Azim. Are you driven by revenge in this game at all, in the fact that Dylan Chima, Luke Willis, Florian Marku, do you kind of still think about having those guys in your sights? Is that something that still drives you, revenge against any of those guys?
Not really, no, if I'm honest. I mean, Florian Marku was far too big for me in the first place. I mean, I wouldn't mind a rematch against him because he was tough, and yeah, I don't really feel like I have this revenge kind of thing. No, Luke Willis was just boring. Let's face it, he ran off. Like, that was boring. I would not. He's the last person I'd want to fight again. And if he comes to fight, then yeah, but I'm not running around the ring for 10 rounds again. I mean, I chased him too much. I didn't box well that fight, but no, he's not really someone that I want to box again because he's going to be forgotten about anyway because he's boring. Who else you got? Chima, yeah, he's just nobody really. Let's face it, 3 rounds he kind of nicked it. It was close. I think give it 6 and I'll flatten him. The revenge doesn't really bother me. No, I just want to be in the biggest fights. I want to climb that ladder again. That's all I want to be.
To be honest with you, we've taken this fight because we know how it propels Rylan, and we do fancy our chances. Again, we know we're an underdog, but we fancy it. But for me, Rylan beats Azim, big style knockout, hopefully, fingers crossed. And then the 135 division's open. He can still make 135. He's a big 140. He's going to refuel and be big, but he can make 135. We'd go back down to there, and I see that division wide open. And winning a British title, yeah, it'd mean everything. It'd be brilliant.
Brilliant. Superb. Well, boys, thanks for giving me some of your time. Look forward to seeing you on November the 27th. Bit of a strange one, a little Sunday boxing card. But you know what? After what's going to be quite a big weekend on the Saturday, quite an exciting one, a little Sunday.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a great idea. I mean, 3 shows clashing on a Saturday wouldn't have made sense, and I wouldn't be surprised if the figures do great. It's something a little bit different Sunday afternoon. I think the show is going to be wrapped up by 7. I know a lot of people from Norfolk, where we're from. They're going to come to Sport Charlton. He's going to do quite a few tickets. Yeah, different venue. I mean, they don't use Ali Pally too much. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good Sunday. I think it's going to be a great idea by Boxer and a great show.
Well, Rylan, we're looking forward to seeing the father strength, the daddy strength in action.
Yes, mate.
It's bigger.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something. Completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.